Alright, time for layer 03, Psyche. Well, the big thing first off is that they pronounce it, CK. But, in proper English, it's Psyche, unless they speak it English, different in England or something. But, that's just a play on the word. So anyway, at part 5, she, the shooting just happened the last episode, and she goes home, and you gotta assume it's late, like past midnight late, and no one's home, and not even Mika, and there's a lot of social commentary on this one, and it's the fact of that parents they aren't really in touch with their kids. I mean, it's that late at night and you don't even know where your kids are. I mean, even in Siberia, like you see these other kids, the two guys and the girl, and it's like, well, they're pretty young. How are they going there? And it shows you, parents and their kids. There's a divide. There's a division. And parents don't take accountability of it, and the kids run you loose. So that's big, and if they further this on at 8:10, when Lain wakes up, and the only thing the mother says is isn't it embarrassing to be late at school? I mean, she's completely oblivious to the fact that her kid was out till late at night, really late, and the fact that someone just died, in front of her eyes, and she's just totally indifferent to it. It's like a big divide. I mean, this whole show is it's a big attack on Western ideals, and I can see the point. Although, personally, I think there's issues with Eastern ideology as well, but that's a whole other topic at the moment. At 9:06, she's on the train, and then she starts hearing voices, and this is the first time. Well, the false god was talking to her, and he had previously given her clues in previous layers, but this is the first time he's pretty much directly speaking to her, and so you can tell she's getting a little used to it, because she's not like freaking out like she was before when all this was happening. Now at 10:54, Chisa starts talking. He's like, "Oh, I wanted to leave the real world to go into the wired," and all this stuff. And Lain looks outside the classroom. She sees a Chisa. At least it looks like Chisa. And one of the things you notice is that it's Chisa, but it looks really aged. Like it looks like an old woman, pretty much. And this can go into the whole thing of the tree of knowledge, having a fruit from the tree of knowledge, and the fact that you can get just pretty much any information from the wired. So, and they say with age comes wisdom, and that could just be a physical representation of that saying. Another thing with the social commentary, 11:17, with Alice, she starts talking like, hey, we just saw someone shoot themselves in the head in front of us, and they're not bothered by it. And it's crazy how dead on this show can be, because we've really have become so desensitized to everything, and that's one thing I'll give the living in the United States, is that they really try to curtail that, whereas for example, in Eastern countries, it's it's blown up. Like, death is nothing, violence is nothing, and that's one of the things. And like I've seen, you can find so many things on the computer, and it's just like, wow, I can watch somebody kill themselves on the computer, and it doesn't faze me, and that's a big. And they made this from in 1998, and like that's so relevant today, because people are so desensitized to everything. Yeah. So, at 13, she's walking. She got that little chip or whatever, and She's walking. All of a sudden, she stops and she says Psyche, which is psych. And well, first off, how did she figure that out? Well, she figured it out because she doesn't know, she doesn't realize that, but with God, you pretty much know everything. So it just came to her. Now, something interesting. I never exactly knew this. I always knew Psyche. Well, what I always thought was Psyche was it meant mind. But if you actually look it up in the dictionary, it means soul. So you could say that chip gives you access to the soul, and further down. Well, yeah, I have to jump further ahead a bit. But at 1744, the kid talks about, oh, that chip can give you full access to the wire, everything, and that's all. The internet has endless amounts of knowledge. You can find knowledge on anything, and so it's, and you could say the soul, is the deepest part of a human being, and you could say the wire, that with that chip, it can say the deepest part of the wire. So that was pretty big. At 14, well, now we gotta backtrack a bit. At 1402, well, that whole time, Lain is on the wire, and she's just hearing all these like talking going on, and it's this whole like chat room thing. However, at 1402, the dead guy actually speaks. He says, "I feel accelerated." So you could tell that he has made the transition completely into the wire, and it's subtle because the rest of the talking is just, it's kind of irrelevant for the most part. It's just saying that you can find anything on the wired. I mean, they even had, at first I thought like the crazy lady talking, saying that there was a kid in a room, that might have alluded to Lain, but Lain never wore red, really. So that was irrelevant. Okay, at 1513, this is before Lain speaks to the kid who knows what that chip is. Lain shows her father, and the big thing, whenever something, you notice that whenever the father knows something and he's not letting on, you never see his face. He either turns around, like he turned around at this point, or usually what they'll do is the father his glasses will tint, so you can't see his eyes. So this is the first, it's going back, to layer 1, that the father, he knows more than he lets on. At 1923, this is another social commentary. Different personalities on the web. You see this all the time. People go on and they put on different personalities, and even on like Facebook and stuff, you go on these people's profiles, and it's like they look like the coolest guys. They always put status updates, partying, whatever, but they can be a completely different personality. And the guy says it's pretty much expected, and it's true. It's so much easier to put up a persona on the computer than it is in real life. So that's, and it's kind of sad. People aren't content with what they have in the real world, so they need to go on the computer and present their true selves. When you look at it in a, how they want to appear to themselves compared to what they actually are. Okay, so the ending, this is a little weird. So Mika comes in, and she sees the guys, and she's freaking out on the mother. Again, this is how mother just is indifferent to everything, and she just does not care. Because chances are, because she's in on the whole, since the father works for the company, she's in on it, and so she doesn't really care because she knows those guys are there. But at 22, very last scene, Mika's talking to Lain, and Lain is just, Lain is normal Lain, saying, oh, I'm working on the computer, static, I don't want to get electrocuted and all this stuff. But then, at the very last scene, Lane looks up and she's like, "Ah, welcome home, big sister." And it's like, what? So, but this is like the first sign of evil Lane messing around with her. Cause you look at her face before. They show her face right before they show Lane acting weird, and she looks so like confused, like she doesn't know what's going on. And I mean, it's not what she's seeing is not what's really happening. So Lane is evil Lane is messing with her mind, and later on, you know, evil Lane just completely, you know, screws with her head and everything. But that was really weird, and they never really explained that. So I can see a lot of people be confused about that. But okay, that is Layer 03 Psyche, and thanks for watching. Peace.